Hey everyone, have you been hunting for a guitar that looks as good as it plays? Something with that classic rock and roll vibe but still feels fresh in your hands? Well, I think I found exactly what you might be looking for. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Gretsch G6128T-57 Vintage Select Edition 57 Duo Jet in Cadillac Green is one of those guitars that just turns heads the second it comes out of the case. I mean, that glossy green finish catches the light like a vintage Cadillac, hence the name, and it's got that timeless Gretsch aesthetic that never really goes out of style. But it's not just about the looks, this thing has a chambered mahogany body, which keeps it light without sacrificing that warm, resonant tone you expect from a solid body. I took it to a small jam session last weekend, and the way it balanced in my hands made it feel like an extension of my arms. No neck dive, no awkward angles, just pure playability. Now, let's talk about the hardware. The Bigsby vibrato tailpiece is a game-changer if you're into that classic rockabilly or surf rock sound. I spent a good 20 minutes just bending strings up and down, and it responds smoothly without any of that sticky or loose feel you sometimes get with cheaper vibratos. It's got a nice firm tension that keeps your tuning stable even when you're really digging into those wild dive bombs. And speaking of tuning, the single-coil pickups deliver that crisp, articulate tone Gretsch is famous for. I plugged it straight into my amp, and the clarity on the high end was impressive, no muddiness at all. I played some clean arpeggios and even some twangy country licks, and it handled both with ease. The neck is mahogany with a rosewood fretboard, and the profile is comfortable enough for long playing sessions. I've got average-sized hands, and I found it easy to navigate up and down the neck without any strain. One thing I really appreciated was the attention to detail in the build. The binding on the fretboard and the block inlays give it that vintage feel, but it's not overdone. It's subtle enough to look authentic but not so flashy that it distracts from the music. I also love that it comes with a hardshell case, which is a nice touch for a guitar at this price point. You don't always get a case with mid-range guitars, so that's a big plus if you're planning to gig with it or just want to keep it protected. I took this guitar to a few different settings, a backyard barbecue, a small indoor gig, and even just noodling around at home, and it held up in every situation. The chambered body kept it light, which was great for standing around at the barbecue, but it still had enough punch to cut through when I was playing with a band. The single-coil pickups were bright and clear, but I did notice that in a noisy environment, they picked up a bit of hum. It wasn't deal-breaking for me, but if you're playing in a high-gain situation or a venue with a lot of interference, you might want to consider that. Also, the stock strings that came on it were a bit on the heavier side for my taste, so I swapped them out pretty quickly for something a little lighter. That's more of a personal preference thing, though. Overall, the Gretsch G6128T-57 Vintage Select Edition 57 Duo Jet is a fantastic guitar for anyone who loves that vintage Gretsch sound but wants modern playability. It's versatile enough for rock, blues, jazz, or even country, and the build quality is top-notch. The Bigsby adds a fun dynamic to your playing, and the finish is just gorgeous. If you've been searching for a guitar that looks as good as it sounds, this might be the one. So, if you're curious and want to see more details, the link is below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. For most buyers, the real question is not whether Gretsch G6128T-57 Vintage Select Edition 57 Duo Jet Cadillac Green sounds impressive on paper, but whether strengths like 6-string solid-body electric guitar with chambered mahogany body and Bigsby vibrato tailpiece Cadillac Green actually make daily use feel easier, more dependable, and more worthwhile after the first few days of excitement wear off.